Committee on, excuse me, this is the Pardon Board. We are reconvening. We are at Dixon Correctional Institute. Today is Monday, April 24th, 2023, and it is 2:56 p.m. Would the staff at DCI please introduce yourself for the record?
Assistant Warden Emily Smith.
Down on Cavalier classification.
Jason Jerry, Administrative Coordinator.
Alvin King, reentry.
That everybody? All right. And I suppose this is Mr. Nicholson before us. Mr. Nicholson, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC.
Nick Nicholson, 99341.
All right, Mr. Nicholson, let me acknowledge your guests. We have by Zoom, the Parole Project and Ms. Talita Hayes with Not My Past Ministries. There you, we have William Nicholson Jr., Carol Nicholson, James Hinkle, Cindy Nicholson, Tony Rabelais, Beverly Rabelais, and Elliot White. Ms. Hayes, my records, Ms. Hayes and Mr. Myers will be speaking on your behalf. First, let me just read a little information into the record. Mr. Nicholson, you're currently serving a life sentence, having been sentenced April 1982 in Caddo Parish for a first-degree murder conviction. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Your case has been assigned to Mrs. Jackson this afternoon. Would you answer her question?
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
afternoon, Mr. Nicholson. Can you hear me?
Off and on, yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
59,
And how long have you been incarcerated?
42 years, coming on 42.
And so that made you what, 18? You committed this crime?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened? What did you do to get incarcerated?
Oh, talking about my charge,
Uh-huh.
first degree murder.
But what did you do?
Oh, I went to a Quick Mart store and I went in there, bought me a cold drink, and I seen that there wasn't anyone in the store. So I figured I was going to just talk the woman into giving me the money, and that didn't work. And I asked her, and she kept getting louder, and I went around the counter because I had a knife, a pocket knife, and I pulled the knife out and I asked her. I said, "Give me the money," and she said no. So I went around the counter and asked her again, and she said no. So I stabbed her several times, and I mean, it happened so fast. I don't even. I know when I stopped. I don't know how many times, but I know I stabbed her and got scared and ran around and just grabbed the register off of the counter. I mean, like I say, it happened so fast. I was scared, and I took off and put the register in my car and started to drive off, and the police.
Yes. Why were you robbing the store?
Ma'am,
Why were you committing a robbery to begin with?
ma'am, I'm not gonna lie. I had priced the truck, and I figured it was a way I can get some money and help pay for the truck. And it was a bad, stupid decision on me.
Well, but it's a big leap from trying to rob someone to actually stabbing them 39 times. So you're gonna have to help us understand how this happened. You know, a lot of people robberies, but they don't end up killing the person And they certainly don't end up stabbing them 39 times. So explain to me why you think you killed this Graham.
Why did I kill what?
Why'd you kill
Hey.
the victim?
The victim? Oh, I think it might have been out of more or less anger because I couldn't get her to give me the money. And I really, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know near it was that many times that she was stabbed, but like I said, it happened so quick. You know,
Well, but, okay, I understand that. Were you under the influence of anything when you went in to commit the robbery?
no, ma'am. No, ma'am, not at all. I never drank. I never did drugs. I mean, to this day, I never drank and I never did no type of drugs whatsoever. I admit I was wrong, you know.
Yeah.
I was very, very wrong. You know, I wasn't thinking when I did this. You know, I'm not gonna blame it on my age or none of that because I had just turned 18. You know, I knew right from wrong.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about your life when you were 18. Had you graduated from high school?
No, ma'am. No, I did.
Were you still in school?
Yes, ma'am.
What grade were you in?
The 11th.
Who did you live with?
My mom and dad.
Okay. And had you talked to your parents about getting you a vehicle?
Well, not that, no. No, ma'am, I wanted to get it on my own.
I'm struggling here, Mr. Nicholson. A lot of kids want vehicles, right? A lot of teenagers would like to have a vehicle. Would you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Most teenagers wouldn't decide, I'm gonna rob a convenience store to get a vehicle. And they certainly wouldn't choose to stab someone to death. So I feel like there's something that was going on with you that either you haven't acknowledged for yourself, or that you're not telling us, because just because you wanted a vehicle, I'm having a real hard time believing this horrific crime happened just because you wanted a.
I had a vehicle. I had a Vega, and but like I said, I wanted the truck, and I was gonna trade the Vega in for the truck and some more money. But that is what I wanted. You know, I never asked my mom and dad for nothing. You know, even being locked up, I never asked them for nothing. I always, you know, done things. I mean, I've never done nothing like this before, ever. But I've always gotten on my own. I've always saved my money.
Again, I'm struggling because most responsible kids who work or save their money don't rob and kill people or truck. They already have transportation. So over the last 42 and a half years, almost 42 years that you've been incarcerated, Mr. Nicholson, have you given any thought to what is it in you that would cause you to murder somebody over a few dollars? I mean, what have you learned about for yourself? Why did I do this?
Well, I know I made a stupid decision for one thing.
Why? Why?
Why?
Why? We can agree that it's stupid. My question is, why would you do that?
Why would I make a stupid decision? I
How would you
wasn't,
murder someone?
I actually wasn't really thinking at the time, you know, like I said, I just turned 18. You know, I had a Vega, I wanted the truck. Why did I turn to that? It was just a bad choice in life. You know, I wasn't brought up like that. And it was just something that happened. You know, it was a bad choice in life I just took a bad turn. And I wasn't under the influence of nothing or drinking nothing. I never drank. I never took pills, never smoked.
Well, you've got a lot of opposition, the Caddo did, sheriff's office. You know, back in 2016, you had a clemency hearing back in 2016. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And at that time, the victims, expressed their adamant opposition to your release. So tell us why you think we ought to grant your request for clemency.
Well, for one thing, ma'am, you know, I came a long way as far as attitude, and I stop and think before I do anything. You know, I realize I took a life for no reason. And I really believe and understand, you know, what I did was wrong. It was wrong. I didn't only hurt the victim. And now that I've done a lot of time and realize that what I've done is wrong by taking classes and I didn't just hurt the victim. I hurt the victim's family, friends, my family. You know, I hurt a lot of people and I didn't know it at the time because, I mean, I'm sure nobody knows or stops and thinks about it and realizes it at the time, but you hurt more than just one person. You know, you hurt the victim, you hurt your own family, you hurt the victim's family, all the friends, you know, anybody that ever knew her or him, you know, you hurt them all. And I feel like I done came a long way. You know, I got my GED, you know, I took classes and, you know, for years, I've been trying to do the right thing and I have been doing the right thing.
All right, well, I do see that, you have a good, disciplinary record, only had, 8 write-ups, in the last 41 plus years. The last one was in July of 2023, a disobedience. Tell us about the disobedience. It was in July of 2003.
A free man I had asked a free man if I could put a loaf of bread under my bed, and the free man said he didn't see no problem with it. It was a lieutenant. And right after I put the bread up under my bed, and he did tell me he didn't see no problem with it. And I didn't know because it was a new place for me, you know, at the main prison. And the next day I got rolled up for the loaf of bread. And when I went to go get the free man, I got rolled up for disobedience on it. And when I went to go get the free man about it, yeah, he said he didn't say it. I didn't argue with him. I just took the write-up.
I noticed that most of your programming has been recent. You've been in prison for 40, almost 42 years. You did
Yes.
victim awareness in 21, anger management in 22, thinking for a change in 20, pre-police in 16. Why did it take so long to start taking programs? Were they available to you?
Well, when I first went to Angola, no ma'am, there was no programs available. And then I would get on the list, the waiting list, just like the anger management. I was on that list for years, and finally when I came here to DCI for dialysis, I finally got on the list and was able to take it. But a lot of my jobs that I worked on, that also stopped me from, because the classes was during the day, and I was building churches and all over the state of Louisiana, taking buildings down, putting buildings up. I was gone most of the time when the classes were available.
What was your last job in prison?
Range crew.
And how long did you do that?
Well, between putting up metal buildings and the range crew, I'd say about 29 years off and on.
Right? And you've done maintenance, you worked in the welding shop, you
Yeah.
worked with sheet metal, and you've been a farm animal worker, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about your health issues.
I got heart disease. I'm a diabetic. I got high blood pressure. I'm on dialysis and I'm blind.
Okay, let's talk about the dialysis. How long have you been on dialysis?
About a year and 3 months, or a year and 4 months.
Okay, and is that why they transferred you to DCI?
Yes, ma'am.
And how often do you get the dialysis?
3 days a week.
And what about your vision?
I see silhouettes, and at night I can't see nothing. Just, if there's a light on somewhere, I can see light, but I can't see nothing or nobody until
And
ma'am,
what's the cause of your vision problems? Is it the diabetes or something else?
it's diabetes.
You have support from your family, your mother, your brothers, your nephews, and your friends. Warden, what can you tell us about Mr. Nicholson?
So, Mr. Nicholson did transfer here about a year and a couple months ago for dialysis. He does go to dialysis 3 times a day. I know that he does require his wheelchair, and he does need assistance with pretty much daily activities. He does have a orderly that's kind of assigned to him to help him get around, to get in and out of his wheelchair, things like that. He has managed to complete anger management once he arrived here. And like we noted earlier, he doesn't have any disciplinary issues.
Mr. Nicholson, if you were to be successful today, I see you have a parole project, but beyond the parole project, what's your plan?
my plans is to try to go work at a blind school. That my sister had kind of got me a job there. And
What would you do at the blind school?
I don't know what, I mean, that's what they do. They hire people and give them jobs. I don't know. I really don't know, man, what they do. She might know more than I do. But I was just informed of that. I mean, I do anything the best I can.
Well, that's my, so if you're confined to a wheelchair, you only see shapes, and you're on dialysis 3 times a week, realistically, what kind of work do you think you would be able to do?
I mean, I really, whatever, I don't know what kind of work they got there. I mean, I really don't. I can get up and move a little bit, but I like I said, I don't know what kind of, that's the kind of people that they hire there, is blind people. They help them, and I guess help them on computers, or because I've never seen or worked on a computer before.
Where would you live?
With my mom and my brother.
Do your mom and your brother in the same household?
Yes, I believe they do. I mean, they stay over at each other's house all the time. That I'm sure of that.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Yes. Mr. Nicholson, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon.
Mr. Nicholson, I have a man in front of me who stabbed a person 39 times, and you didn't tell Mr. Jackson why you did it.
Why what?
Why you did it?
Well, I thought I could get some money to help put a down payment on the truck.
Okay, I don't, but had you met this person before?
Had you ever met the lady before?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir, I haven't.
And have you ever been treated for mental illness?
From,
Mental illness.
oh, no, sir.
Did you suffer from seizures of any kind?
No, sir.
But why does a man stab a person 39 times?
Like like I said, it happened so fast. I didn't know, and I believe you, it was 37, 39, however many times. You know, it's something that happened so fast. I guess maybe I might have been angry, or I mean, there's no excuse. I just wasn't I wasn't thinking at the time.
Why would you be angry at a person you didn't know?
Asking for the money, and she kept telling me no, and then she started throwing things, and I mean, that might have been it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I don't see any other questions, so we'd like to hear from the parole project.
Yes, good afternoon. Terry Myers, Louisiana Parole Project. I've known Mr. Nicholson a long time. He's not one for giving long talks or speeches, or even speaking for himself. I do know this, that he was 18, and he did what an 18-year-old often does. He acted on impulse. And an impulse that he cannot explain. Even now, he has no way to explain it. But we do know that is with the brain science, that is often what happens in a stressful moment. That's not an excuse. That is just a causation. Mr. Nicholson worked for decades on the range crew and other maintenance jobs. He was highly trusted. He was a rodeo champion multiple times. He was the all-around cowboy. He had a lot of respect and a lot of trust from both staff and other offenders. He's got an excellent conduct record. He's no threat to public safety at his age, at his physical condition. He's no threat to public safety. Parole Project will help him through the transition. He would be, based on his medical condition, it is our recommendation that he would go straight to his family. We will help. He's eligible for SSI disability. We will help him apply for that. We'll make sure he has his Medicaid set up. And we will do whatever else we can do remotely to help Mr. Nicholson. His medical condition would dictate 3 times a week in dialysis, would just dictate. My understanding with the family is that it's already been looked into and at LSU Medical Center in Shreveport, and that he would have the facilities there to continue with his dialysis. So we would just ask that looking at his totality, his disciplinary record, again, not the most articulate person in the world to speak for himself today, and he's nervous, but he's certainly no threat to public safety. And it's my belief, in knowing Mr. Nicholson and knowing how he's always conducted himself, and has never showed any violence towards anyone, that he did what an 18-year-old, an impulsive act, and what an 18-year-old would do when he's frightened. And the fact that he doesn't really remember it is not surprising, based on those reactions. It's very hard to explain. It's a horrible crime, and there is no rational explanation for it, other than the fact that he acted on impulse. And I don't believe, based on his entire history, he has any mental illnesses. This is what we know. This is what we know of the brain science. So I would just ask that this board consider all this: his length of time served, his medical condition, his support system when he does return, and grant him his relief today.
All right. We hear now from Talita Hayes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Talita Hayes with I Am Not My Past Ministries. We're an organization that helps incarcerated families to reunite with their loved ones during and after incarceration. A friend of Mr. Nicholson reached out to us asking us to help the family to prepare for this clemency today, and we did that. We are also available, and we're lending our services to help the families any way we can. If Mr. Nicholson is granted a favorable recommendation today, we will help them with resources to help him, to help the family to reunite and to get used to Mr. Nicholson being back home and him back in society. Along with after he leaves the parole project, I have a member of my staff that will be contacting the family to do check-ins, also contacting to help for any other medical resources they may have or any other thing that the family may need to unite them back together after he's returned back to society. We just wanted to know that we would be rendering services to the family and ongoing services with check-ins to see that anything that we can do to help support the family and Mr. Nicholson once he's returned back to society. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. So, Mr. Nicholson, is there anything you'd like to say to us before we vote?
Ma'am, sir, I know what I done was very wrong. All right. I am so sorry to the victim's family and to the victim and to my family for all the pain that I've caused. You know, I'm not perfect. You know, I'm not putting this on nobody. I and I alone am taking my accountability for what I've done. And I am so sorry for what I've done. And yes, I was very scared. And I still am. I'm scared because I don't know how much longer I'm gonna live in here, or my mom's gonna live out there. You know, that's why I really wish that I can get one more chance, because I've never been in trouble in my life. And yes, this is a big trouble. You know, it's not something that I can take back, and I really wish I could, you know, just that one day. But I want to say even to the family of the victim, you know, your mom, your friend, whatever Miss Kelly was to you, to whoever's listening, you know, I'm sorry. You know, I know one thing, she is in heaven, she's an angel, and she's a legend, and she's gonna always be a legend in everybody's heart and mind. You know, I'm truly sorry for the pain that I've caused anybody.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, prepared to vote, Mrs. Jackson?
Mr. Nicholson, you know, maybe we'll never know what caused you to commit this crime. I don't know if you'll ever know fully what caused you to commit this crime. So what I look at is who you are today. 18 then, you're 60 now. You've been incarcerated almost 42 years. You have some significant health issues which will really get worse over the course of time, putting even more responsibility on the Department of Corrections to provide going to be a long-term care. You do have a good disciplinary record. You have a good work history. And for those reasons, my vote would be to get a commutation to 60 years with immediate parole. So that's just my vote.
Mr. Roche?
Madam Chairman, my vote is the same.
Mr. Bella?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I agree with both Judge Jackson. My vote would be the same as well.
Okay, Mr. Freeman?
I could, my colleague, my same.
All right, and my vote, Mr. Nicholson, would be the same based on age, incarceration, the support you have, issues that you're facing. So you've received a unanimous vote. We'll make that recommendation on your behalf, Governor Edwards. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you very much.